What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. This is best bet for UFC Vegas 99. We have Anthony Hernandez going against Michel Pereira, a card that is kicking off in about an hour and 45 minutes. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot more action than I expected to have on this card. But yeah, definitely some spots sticking out. Going to go through and talk about some fights here from a best bet perspective. Of course, we don't have the full panel today. We'll be back next week with the full panel, but wanted to come on here for about 45 minutes, talk through the chat and see if we can find any last minute spots for UFC Vegas 99. Talk some line movement as well. There's been some crazy line movement on this card. We have Kyler Phillips all the way up to minus 600 now. Jake Hadley all the way up to minus 600. We have Elise Reed at minus 210 now, which is very interesting. Darren Elkins is now minus 130. So yeah, tons of line movement coming in on fight days. We'll talk about all of that. Before we get into, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow with Stat Diggers. Me and Uncle Weezy breaking down UFC 308. Was able to dig into that card nice and early today. Was able to tape 5 of the fights. So there's 14. So hoping to get a ton of research done today and tomorrow and be ready for the show tomorrow night. So what is up, guys? Hopefully you guys are having a good Saturday. We got PFL going on. We got college football going on. Lots going on today. But thank you guys for checking in here on Fight Day. We got Call Me Husker saying, came here to get cheered up because I'm crying watching the Huskers get stomped by Indiana. Yeah, I was crying last week when Ohio State just completely blew it in the last couple plays. It was kind of tough to watch. They had the win, and they just blew it. So that sucks. And I know how you feel. I absolutely know how you feel. We got Genu saying, yes, sir. What is up? What is up? We got Eric the Red. What's up, Brady? Luck today. Good luck to you as well, Eric. Good to see you in here. Jacob saying, bet MGM exact outcome bet. Michel by backflip KO plus 10,000. Could be worth the sprinkle, man. Could be worth it. So I think he's going to at least try for it. He's going to at least try for it. We got D'Amato's scorecards, which by the way, Mr. D'Amato, you didn't have a good night last week. Last week, you were on the wrong side of, I think, 3 split decisions. So Sal D'Amato, I've been giving you props. Been telling you you've been doing really good, but last week was just awful performance out of you, Mr. Sal D'Amato. So yeah, get it together. But he's saying Pereira sub round combos on FanDuel are insane. Plus 13, 18, etc. Hernandez has been sub before, and 37% of Pereira's wins are by submissions. Yeah, I think if it does happen, it's sub 1 or sub 2. Could be worth a look. We got John Suppy. What is up, John? Good to see you in here. Got your email as well, John. Love it. Keep them coming. Love looking at the different stats and stuff and different ways to kind of improve my process. So that definitely does go a long way. Shout out to you, John. We got TT saying, I just realized how dumb I am depending on Reed to make big money today. Well, as long as the fight doesn't hit the mat, I think you'll be fine. But if the fight hits the mat, then I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Brady, I watch this show while I bang my wife. There you go. Love to hear it, Hunter. Putting in the work. At least Ohio State will get an easy win off Nebraska. Yep, they sure will. But yeah, I'm still hurt from last week. Line for Despaigne is getting better. Thoughts on a lay there? Yeah, maybe a parlay piece. I know it's tough parlaying, Rebellis Despaigne. He's has no ground game, but yeah, I mean, Austin Lane, I just don't think is it. So yeah, I don't hate him as a parlay piece. Thoughts on the Almabaev over 2.5? It's juiced, but I do like it. What is it, minus 285? I like it. I mean, if it doesn't hit, it's probably Almabaev knocking out Nicolau, but I'm not sure how likely that is. But we'll get into some fights here, guys. Going to kick it off with the first fight on the card, and there has actually been some line movement on this fight. So we got Rebellis Despaigne. He opened up minus 650. He's currently minus 360. Austin Lane opening up plus 475. He's currently plus 285. And money is coming in on the over 1.5 rounds, which I think is very interesting, because Austin Lane, I think, has only been over 1.5 just once in his career, and it was against that bum. Who's that bum? Oh, Juan Adams. Oh, gosh. I think that was the only time he's went over 1.5 rounds. So money's coming in on the over, which I completely disagree with, to be honest. So I like the under here as a parlay piece. I did parlay it with the under 4.5 in the main event. And then I also don't mind Rebellis KO1. Everybody's doing it, but yeah, Rebellis KO1 it's improving as well. I think I saw minus 106 for the KO1. I think it happens in round 1. And then on DraftKings, they have Rebellis and the under 0.5 rounds at plus 225. And I think with that, you're kind of fading the Austin Lane takedown. Because if Austin Lane does get a takedown, let's face it, Rebellis is not getting up, the round probably is going to end with Lane on top. But if Lane doesn't get a takedown within the first 60 seconds of this fight, I think his head's getting taken off. So, yeah, I think good spot for Despaigne. I think Lane's path to victory here is to wrestle, get on top, and get a finish within the first round and a half. Not sure how likely that is. So I think it's a good bounce back spot for Despaigne. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is a lot better than Lane as well. So yeah, should be Despaigne here. Should be Despaigne in very violent fashion as well. Let's see. We got Estotic, Estotic, Esoteric, 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 Esoteric. Yo, what up, Brady? I'm smoking a joint and placing your bets, bro. Let's get it. Let's get it. Esoteric. Let's get it. Let's get it. Brady, I'll parlay you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Maybe you'll get a good line on it. Also, last question will be, will you be talking PFL 2 or just UFC Vegas? So I looked into PFL a little bit, see if I could find anything, but nothing really stuck out. Bunch of juiced favorites. I'm probably going to stay from PFL. Looking forward to it, though. Looking forward to both the main and the co-main in PFL. The overs on the Lane Ngannou and the main event. Oh, I'm going the opposite way. Oh, they have been moving? Yeah, that's kind of been a theme on fight day. It's like the fights that are clearly most violent, money is coming in on the overs on fight day. It's weird, but that's just how it's been these past several months, it seems like. I can't trust Lane. NFL linebacker to failed UFC fighter is true pipeline. Despaigne by KO, that's kind of what I'm looking as well. Bet Despaigne round 1 KO minus 150. Parlay the under 1.5 at minus 240. I like both those spots. And like I said, the KO one has improved throughout the week, believe it or not. And it's now minus 106, I see. Esoteric. There we go. Esoteric. There we go. Brady is having a seizure. Yep, I've been having plenty of them lately on stream. Am I good? No. Am I good? Absolutely not. G Matsumoto, we'll talk about that fight. Lane just needs to take this guy down. He can try, man. He can try. And esoteric means difficult to understand. Funnily enough, hey, maybe I did it on purpose. I didn't, but imagine that'd be clever. All right. Just needs to tackle him. That's fair. That's what he did in his last fight against Denise, just tackle the dude. But yeah, we'll see, man. All right, moving on to the next fight. It is Melissa Martinez going against Alice Ardelean. I want nothing to do with this fight whatsoever. So we have not seen Martinez in there in a couple years. The last time we did see her in there, though, I had a bet on Elise Reed against her, and I felt disgusting before, during, and after the fight with that bet on Elise Reed. It was disgusting. It was nasty, but it cashed. And the reason it cashed was because, for one, Reed dropped her, and for two, Reed was actually out grappling Melissa Martinez, and that's just a big red flag to me. So, I mean, the question is, has Melissa Martinez went out there over these last 2 years and improved the takedown defense, improved the get-up game? Because if you're getting taken down by Elise Reed, I mean, anybody in the UFC could take you down, quite frankly. So, Alice Ardelean, although I don't think she's the best fighter in the world by any means, like, she has a path here. But I don't want to touch this fight. If anything, it would be a shot on Alice Ardelean, but no, thank you. No, thank you. It's probably going to go to decision. It's probably going to be close. It's probably going to come down to the crooked, corrupt, blind judges. Are they going to score the control of Ardelean? Are they going to score the better striking of Martinez? Are they even going to be watching the fight? Who knows? But I think this has split decision written all over it, and I'm staying far, far away from this one here. So, yeah, the pick will be Ardelean as an underdog, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of unknowns on the Martinez side, so we'll see. What do we got here? We got Greasy. Brian, say love you, Brady. Love you as well, Greasy Brian. Disgusting. Disgusting, man. Disgusting. We got Justin Cash with the $2 donut. Appreciate you, Justin Cash. Love the show. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. Who you calling corrupt? Let's face it, Sal. I mean, Sal, you effed up last week. Last week you did terrible. So hopefully this week you get it together. But yeah, last week was rough for you, Mr. D'Amato. Last time there was a KO at 115 pounds was January 20th, 2024. Jillian Robertson, more than 30 cards ago. What about that? What about Wong Kong? Isn't she a strawweight? Wong Kong knocked out Leonardo. I think that was after January, right, John? But yeah, I think that was the only thing that I could think of. Yeah, they don't come often at all. They do not come often at all. All right, let's move on to this next fight. We have Elise Reed going against Jessica Penne. And weird fight. I mean, Elise Reed is currently minus 210. Jessica Penne is plus 180. It's a weird fight because like Elise Reed could go out here and look minus 210. The thing she has to do though is keep this fight standing. If this fight hits the mat once, I think she's in a lot of trouble. I mean, Elise Reed has one of the worst ground games in UFC history. She's been finished 4 times at strawweight. Just looks awful on the mat. She's been TKO'd on the ground. She's been submitted on the ground. And, one thing I can't get out of my head is little Luma Luke Boonmi just taking her down and submitting her instantly in the second round. So Jessica Penne, she's 41 years old. She doesn't have great wrestling, but if she gets on top, like Jessica Penne is a slick grappler. She is a black belt. So Elise Reed, I mean, the ground is lava for her. So it's a weird fight because like Elise Reed could look minus 210, but she has to fight pretty much a perfect fight. Don't hit the ground once. And if so, yeah, I think she pays off this price tag. But if Jessica Penne is able to take the back standing like she does, or God forbid, get this fight down to the mat, like Jessica Penne is a very live dog, even at 41 years old, just because Elise Reed's ground game is just a huge hole in her game. So I like just a shot on the Penne sub here. It's plus, I think I saw plus 550 yesterday. It might have moved a tad, but yeah, I think that's pretty much her path. I think if she gets this fight down to the mat, the sub is going to be super live. So don't mind a shot on the Penne by submission. I would not recommend laying minus 210 on Elise Reed, but I mean, yeah, she probably does win if she's able to stuff all the takedowns coming her way. But yeah, greasy fight here. But I think Penne's super live for that sub. We'll see. Got Jack saying, meant to give this one out earlier. DK same game parlay, lane money line, lane 1 takedown, and 10 plus significant strikes in round 1. Pays out 1,200. Seems like his win. Yeah, pretty much his money line right there. Because if Lane's winning this fight, he's getting a takedown. So agreed. If you have to play Lane, that's how you do it. I agree with that. We got my guy Cody in the building. What's up, bro? What is up? This card is sketchy. That's for sure. Especially these prelims. These prelims are sketchy for sure. Penne looked good on the scales. Yeah, she looked pretty good on the scales. 41 years old. Looked pretty good. Should have put more on Loma. I feel like these fights used to be easier to call. Yeah, I had a big bet on Loma against Elise Reed, but I was not expecting Loma Luke Boonmi to submit Elise Reed. I actually started laughing because it was just hilarious. Like, why is Loma Luke Boonmi submitting you? Like, that makes no sense. But yeah, it just goes to show you how poor Elise Reed is on the ground. So she better stuff takedowns here. She better keep it standing. If not, I think she's in for a rude away. I mean, if Loma Luke Boonmi's subbing you, Jessica Penne can as well. Do you ever do the Bet365 daily lineups or the DraftKings? DraftKings, yes. Bet365, are they doing the daily lineups now? I didn't know they're doing the daily line. I'll have to check it out, but I know DraftKings does, and I've done that for years. But I'll have to check out the Bet365. I did not know that. 1K was at 125. Okay, it was at 125. There we go. No KOs at 115 since the glove switch. Okay, very interesting. Did someone say greasy? Yes. These first 4 fights I think are very, very greasy. Very greasy. Yeah, I've been winning 20 weekly in bonus bets. Okay, I'll have to check it out. All right, let's move on to another greasy fight. We got Jocelyn Edwards going against Tamara's Vidal. Jocelyn Edwards is minus 235. Vidal is plus 200. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I started off the week pretty confident in Jocelyn Edwards, and then the more you just think about it, the more it's like this fight could be close. This fight could go to decision. This fight could be a split. This fight could come down to the crooked, corrupt judges, and we could get some weird scorecards mixed in there. And then the weigh-ins happen, and it's like Jocelyn Edwards weighed in at 139.5, and that wasn't the concerning part. The concerning part was she got off the scale, and she had like a really weird mental lapse where it's like she wasn't there. And she turned around, looked at the wall for like 30 seconds, and just stood there after her weigh-in. I'm not sure what happened, and then somebody had to like escort her off the stage there. So that was really, really weird to me. She cuts her hair off and still weighs 139. So just a weird situation there with Jaws. I'm not sure what's wrong with her, but yeah, I mean, I think she should beat Vidal. I'll never pick Vidal to win a UFC fight ever, but we're talking about laying minus 240 on Jaws and Edwards. You just can't do it. So yeah, nothing sticking out here at all, especially after seeing Jaws and Edwards on the scales. Are just really, really weird stuff going on with Jocelyn Edwards. So yeah, no money line sticking out, no props sticking out, just nothing sticking out in this one at all. What? Jocelyn, give me Edwards? Oh God. Oh my God. I'm hard passing on this fight after the scales. Yeah, I'm definitely passing on this one. I'm not sure what's up with Jocelyn Edwards. That was a weird. I've never seen anything like that. It's like she froze. She froze up there. This card has a big underdog on it. Numbers don't make sense. Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a ton of lines that are way too wide, especially throughout today. These last 24 hours, these lines are getting hammered. A lot of big favorites. We're going to see a 30-second KO, then 3 fights nobody cares about. That's kind of how I'm seeing it as well. 30-second KO, and then just probably 45 minutes of just terrible, awful fights in a row. Yeah. I'm kind of seeing it the same way. Bad moment to tune in down. Yeah, you got to be very down bad to say something as sick as that. I mean, oh my God, I couldn't. Oh, don't even get me started. D'Amato, yeah, probably does, man. Probably does. Bet this fight over 2.5. Yeah, I think this fight goes over 2.5. I think all three probably do. The one I'd be worried about would be the Elise Reed Penne fight, but we'll see. Why don't they just make a women's fight 3v3 tag team WWE style? I wouldn't mind that. I want to see like Chris Barnett in a WWE style fight. I think that'd be pretty fun. All right, let's move on. We got Gene Matsumoto going against Brad Katona. Yeah, nothing really sticking out here. Kind of how I'm seeing this fight is I think that Matsumoto is going to win the fight, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the line does indicate. So I think the Brad Katona plus 3.5 point spread's not the worst look in the world. It was actually plus 100 on Bet Online earlier in the week. Then I saw like minus 135 on DraftKings. Now it's minus 150. So money has been coming in on that Brad Katona plus 3.5. I think it's one of those fights where it's like, Gene Matsumoto is going to do the better work on the feet, landing more shots, doing more damage. He's actually going to be the only person in this fight that's going to do any damage. And in theory, the fights are score damage over control. So I think Matsumoto is going to win a damage over control type decision. With that said, though, Brad Katona probably does get takedowns, does get some control. We saw Dan Argueta take down Matsumoto 9 times in 9 minutes. With that said, though, Argueta is a better wrestler than Katona, but Katona does have better control than Argueta. So I think Katona can win some minutes here on the mat, but ultimately I think it's going to be like a damage over control type situation with Matsumoto. And it all comes down to what these crooked, corrupt judges think. Are they going to score the damage of Matsumoto like they should, or are they going to score the takedowns, the doing nothing of Brad Katona with it? So, yeah, I think Matsumoto wins. Matsumoto by decision, which is like minus 110. Brad Katona plus 3.5, which is like minus 150 now. I think both those spots are very viable. And then also the over 2.5. Over 2.5 at minus 325 just seems like a very fair parlay piece type line as well. So yeah, I think it goes over, goes to decision, and I think it all comes down to what the crooked, corrupt judges think. Chris Barnett was in the WD as Mark Henry. Come on. I want to see Despaigne versus Pereria just for the freak show quick fight. Yeah, that'd be a fun fight. Let's see here. You can't bet on Hadley. You won't accumulate points. Yeah, Hadley's like minus 600 now. Hadley's like minus 600 at this point. All these lines are getting smashed. It's crazy to me that while KOs are down significantly since the glove switch, the average weight of the fighter with the KO is down 4 pounds. Yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting. I remember like a couple weird heavyweight fights that went the distance, like that Pavlovich Volkov fight went the distance somehow. I can't stand watching Katona fight. You and me both, and everybody else. Looking to fade him here. Yeah, I think he loses the fight, but we'll see what the crooked judges think. Gene has a cut under his eye. I did not notice that. But yeah, if Brad can cut it open, it could be close. Yeah, I did not notice he had a cut. Minus 600 for Jake Hadley is wild. The Sue Mudaerji Charles Johnson said the distance is crazy high odds. I agree. I like that. We'll talk about that soon. But move on to this next fight. It is Asu Almabaev going against Matheus Nicolau. Yeah, this is another weird fight for me because I feel like stylistically it's a weird one because Almabaev has went out there and he's averaging like 8 takedowns per 15 minutes. He's looking just dominant. He's looking like the next big thing. And then it's like, who's he fighting against? Oh, Jose Johnson. That guy is the worst takedown defense I've ever seen. CG Vergara. Guys like that. This is going to be Nicolau, who does have some of the best, if not the best, takedown defense in the division. I think on paper, Nicolau's takedown defense is 93%. So, but yeah, the thing about Nicolau is he's tough to bet on. The volume is non-existent with Nicolau. He's one of those guys where you're like yelling at the TV, throw something. For the love of God, Nicolau, throw something. He's so low volume. It's so hard to watch. So even though Nicolau is obviously the better striker, like on the feet, it could be competitive. And then on top of that, we have to worry about Nicolau's durability. So although I think Nicolau's a very live dog here, I think he can potentially stuff takedowns. It's like, even if he does win this fight, it's probably like to be like a close decision. So I think I'm passing here. I looked at maybe like the Almabaev by knockout, but I doubt that hits. It's like plus 1,000 I saw, but it's not really a knockout guy. So yeah, another fight I just don't have a ton of interest in here, but I think Nicolau's super live at the number. It's just Nicolau's not a guy I just like betting on. Durability's not there, volume's not there. I think he has all the skill in the world, just can't seem to really put it together. So I'm just gonna sit back and watch this one. I think it's a great test for Almabaev. We're gonna see how legit this guy is. If he can go out there and do what he's doing to Jose Johnson and Vergara to Nicolau. I mean, this guy Almabaev could be like the next big thing, but this is his first true test, so we'll definitely see here. Let's see. I was leaning Nicolau, but after seeing Almabaev on the scales, I switched my pick to Almabaev. The Almabaev looked good. Nicolau looked fine, but Nicolau did show up 30 minutes late to weigh-ins, but apparently he was stuck in traffic, which I don't buy it. I mean, that's a terrible excuse. Nicolau. I think Nicholas or Katona wins. Something is off. Maybe. I think both these fights go to decision. Nicolau, Almabaev, Katona, Matsumoto. I think both the fights go to decision. And the fights are going to come down to the crooked, corrupt judges. And we could see some weird scorecards. We could see Sal D'Amato go out there and give a weird scorecard. We could see Ron McCarthy give a terrible scorecard. We certainly could see it. So yeah, I would not be shocked if either Nicolau or Katona was able to pull off an upset, because these fights will probably be going the distance. I was thinking about betting this fight to go over 2.5, but 125 has been finishing more lately. Yeah, I would lean this fight goes over outside of like an Almabaev KO, but like I said, I'm not sure how likely that really is, because it's just not his game. And even last week, who was that dude that knocked out CJ Vergara? He had to knock him out like 5 times until Herzog finally had to stop the fight. So yeah, it's just not his game. I'm not sure he knocks out Nicolau. You got a best round prop bet. Haven't hit since Mel Costa round 3. Last week we had Grant Dawson round 2 at plus 1,000. What else we have last week? Last week we had Dawson round 2. Oh, Pat Sabatini by sub. That's not a round prop though. I thought we had another round prop last week. No, I guess. Oh, Temirov 1-2 KO was a big number as well. I think it was like plus 440, something like that. This week, yeah, there's a lot sticking out, man. 2-3 props. Hernandez 2-3-4. Those are in play. Michel Pereira 1-2's in play. Charles Johnson 2-3 is always in play on any given night. Darren Elkins 2-3 is in play on any given night, especially here. So I think those would be like kind of the 3 fights with a 2-3 prop. Fluffy is a lock. Oh gosh. No, he's not a lock. I'm picking him to win, but I don't think he's a lock. I was this close to betting on Penne, but it's be based off of how bad Reed is, not how good Penne is. I feel you on that. Yep, Johnson round 3, always in play. He hit it last time against Van, but we'll see. All right, let's move on to this next fight. We got the main card opener. It is Darren Elkins going against Daniel Pineda. What's going on here? What are we doing? Darren Elkins minus 143. So I'm picking Darren Elkins to win. I picked him as a dog though. When I taped this fight, he was a dog. And now he's minus 143. What is going on? It's a close fight. I mean, this fight can go either way, in my opinion. Kind of how I'm seeing it is I think Pineda is very live to starch Darren Elkins in the first round. I think it's very much on the table. Daniel Pineda, 100% finish rate, 25 of his wins coming under 1.5 rounds. He's dangerous, has power on the feet, has a submission game. I think he's live to starch Darren Elkins in the first round and a half. But if this fight hits the second round, I think it's all Elkins. But yeah, I'm just confused. Why is this much money coming in on Darren Elkins? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But yeah, well, for me personally, I played they have the same game parlays, right? They have the Pineda and the under 1.5 rounds at plus 300, which made no sense whatsoever. Like I said, 25 wins for Pineda, all under 1.5 rounds. So I played that. And then I also played the Elkins 2-3, which are decent numbers as well. Elkins round 2 is plus 850. Elkins round 3 is plus 1200. So I'm looking for Pineda earlier, Elkins late. So that's kind of how I'm playing it there. I think somebody's getting served here. I think Pineda, he's been to decision his last 2 fights, but his last 2 opponents just let him off the hook and are not finishers. Caceres is the worst finisher in UFC history. And then Nathaniel Wood is also a terrible finisher, and he's a bantamweight. So I think that Elkins is not going to let him off the hook. And I think Elkins 2-3 is live as long as he does not get served in the first round. So not sure why this much money's coming in on Elkins. I think there might be like a narrative going around about Pineda. Apparently Pineda, I forget what he said, something about like him not being able to have like the best camp or something, not being able to train with a bunch of fighters. But I don't know, maybe like a narrative on the Pineda side driving the line, because I wouldn't feel comfortable laying minus 140 on Darren Elkins. I think he's very live to get served early. Yeah, was thinking about playing both Elkins and Fluffy after the first year. I think Elkins, great live bet. Fluffy, great live bet. Charles Johnson, great live bet. Call me Husker, Pineda inside the distance. I don't hate it, man. I think that's how he wins. I just bet the Elkins by points or Pineda by KO. Yeah, I could see that. I think if this does go to decision, I think Elkins is winning. I'd be pretty surprised if Pineda won a decision. I faded Pineda in the past and don't get the line here. Oh, yeah, I always try to fade Pineda. Yeah, I think at worst, this should be a pick 'em. Elkins is cooked. Yeah, he is. He is cooked, but yeah, so is Pineda. I'm late to the party. Is Penne worth a look at plus 173 at 41 years of age? God, I just played the sub prop because I think that's her win condition. If she's not getting takedown, she's not winning this fight, in my opinion. So I just played the sub prop. It's a big number. I got it at plus 550. But honestly, it's probably a fight that should be avoided. Skip my question. I didn't see your question, Edwards. Oh, here it is. Johnson and Phillips parlay lock. Everybody's doing that same exact parlay. Everybody's doing the line has moved drastically on the Phillips side. I would not do that personally, but yeah, I think it hits. I don't think it's a lock though, man. Elkins gets his leg broken by a leg kick. Mark my swords. I hope not. I sure hope not. Let's see. Sal D'Amato is busy. Oh, gosh. Yeah, thank you. No Sal D'Amato today, guys. No Sal D'Amato. There we go. Yeah, something related to the training. Something about he didn't have the best camp or whatever. All right, let's move on to this next fight. It is Jake Hadley going against Cameron Smotherman. Got to save some time, so we're going to save some time on this fight. Yeah, nothing here. Geez, Jake Hadley minus 625. What's wrong with people? What's wrong with people? With that said, though, I mean, yeah, Jake Hadley should win. Smotherman, I'm not high on Smotherman at all. I think he's very chinny. I think he has no takedown defense, no get-up game. Jake Hadley should be able to do whatever he wants here. But yeah, all the props on Hadley are trash. Hadley inside the distance, you got to lay juice at minus 140, trash. Jake Hadley by KO plus 230, trash. Jake Hadley by submission plus 230, trash. It's all trash. But yeah, Jake Hadley should get the job done here. Yeah, I really wanted to see the Stan Hadley fight, but yeah, Hadley should go out there and win this fight and probably look like a big favorite. But minus 625, like, what are you gonna do? So I'm passing here. What do you think of Johnson, Joslin, Rebellis on a parlay? I think they all win. The only one that would worry me about would be Joslin, but that's because of the weigh-ins and she looked something's off with her, man. Something's off with Joslin, but I think she should win. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. We got Charles Johnson going against Mudaerji. Money coming in on Charles Johnson. Minus 260 now. That's a little wide. Mudaerji look sitting at plus 220. So I think that Johnson could look minus 260. He could look minus 1,000 here with the right game plan. Everybody knows how bad Mudaerji's ground game is. This guy has been submitted 6 times in all 6 of his losses. Charles Johnson, no submissions in the UFC, but he does have a couple submission attempts, and he can wrestle as well. If Johnson wants to win this fight and win it dominantly, he's going to be have to mix in takedowns here. And if he does that, I think he does go out there and dominate this fight and make it look easy. My concern, though, is if Charles Johnson goes out there and strikes with Mudaerji for 15 minutes, he's not looking minus 260, and he might not even win the fight. Like, Mudaerji's very long, very rangy, has power for the division, really good striking. But yeah, Johnson, I'm hoping he wrestles here. I'm hoping he grapples. If he does, the Charles Johnson subs very live. For me personally, I didn't play the submission prop because it's just a terrible price. I mean, plus 350, plus 300. We got Pat Sabatini by sub at plus 650 last week. Why are we only getting Johnson by submission at plus 300? The dude has no subs in the UFC. So I just played the inside the distance instead. It's not much of a difference in price. Charles Johnson does have power. He showed it off in the Van fight, showed it off in the Hadley fight, showed it off in the Flick fight. So I just think Johnson is very live for a finish here, and I think he's very live for that 2-3 as well. He's a slow starter. That's why I also don't mind Johnson as a live bet. I live bet him after the first round of the Hadley fight, and I'll potentially be looking to live bet him here after the first round of this fight because he's just a slow starter. Gets going as the fight goes on type thing. So yeah, Johnson 2-3, Johnson inside the distance, but I'm hoping he comes in here with a good game plan. If he doesn't, then I don't know. It could be close. It could be close. Hadley at minus 625 is crazy unbettable. Yeah, it's too wide. It's too wide. Glad I get Elkins a plus 110. There you go. Beat a lot of linemen with there. Charles minus 3.5 at plus 105. Yeah, I think it hits. I think he finishes. The fact that CG beat Van should make this an easy win. Yeah, that's a great win. That's a great win. Van's a great fighter. So we'll see if Charles Johnson can build on that momentum because that was a great win. All right, guys, we'll keep moving on to the next fight. It is Kyler Phillips going against Rob Font. We got Kyler Phillips minus 600. Rob Font is plus 425. So, yeah, I love Kyler Phillips in this matchup. I think he makes this look pretty easy, but the problem is this line just gotten crushed throughout the entire week. Everybody's on the same Phillips Johnson parlay, it looks like, and yeah, both lines are just getting crushed, especially this Phillips line, though. One spot that I've had my finger over the trigger all week on is these Phillips violence props because I think Rob Font is going to get finished in the very, very near future. I've been waiting for Rob Font to get finished. He's so close to getting finished in all these fights. Jose Aldo knocks him down 3 times. Marlon Vera finishes him in 4 different rounds, but Jason Herzog refuses to stop the fight at any moment. Corey Sandhagen almost gets him out of there late in the fight. So Rob Font is due. He's due to get finished. He's due for that first knockout. He's getting hurt in every fight. He's wobbling across the cage in every single fight, but just won't go down. Is Kyler Phillips the first one to get him out of there? We'll have to see. But yeah, Kyler Phillips, he has power on the feet. I think he could hurt Font. And then Kyler Phillips is a black belt in BJJ. I think takedowns will be free here. See, I just think Kyler Phillips has a lot of avenues to not only win this fight, but win it inside the distance. But it could be one of those very frustrating situations where Kyler Phillips makes Rob Font do the stanky leg 3 different times. The ref doesn't stop the fight. And then somehow, some way, it miraculously goes to decision. It could really look like that. But ended up taking a shot on Phillips to win in round 1 or round 2. My thinking here is that I think if he wins this fight, inside the distance, it's going to be early. Phillips is very front-loaded. He goes out there with a very cardio-taxing style. He's looking to get that finish early. And if he doesn't get it in the first round and a half, 2 rounds, he does slow down in that third round. So I'm looking for a Phillips round 1, round 2 finish. Money's been pouring in on this under as well. The under's just gotten smashed. It was plus 200. It's now plus 150. So I do like that. So I'm looking for Phillips to get that early finish here. But yeah, I'll be continuing to fade the durability of Rob Font. I had Marlon Vera 3-4-5 props against Rob Font. And again, Vera hurt him in every single one of those rounds. The ref just wouldn't stop the fight. And to Font's credit, he wouldn't quit. But yeah, this guy's the durability, I think, is quickly diminishing. And Rob Font or Phillips does have that knockout threat, and he has that submission threat as well to go along with it. So yeah, give me violence here. Again, it could be frustrating to watch, but I think the avenues are there for sure. I'd be very surprised if Font hasn't drilled his grappling since 2023. So his defensively, he looked fine in the Sandhagen fight, but Sandhagen really didn't try to push for any type of finish, or wasn't really aggressive on the mat like I think Kyler will be. Will Kyler actually grapple if he wants to? I mean, takedowns will be free. They'll be free. Phillips over 2.5 takedowns. Again, if he wants to. I mean, if Rob Font cannot stuff a takedown. So we'll see. Very interesting fight here. Brady, where's your panel? The panel will be back next week, full panel, an early show next week. So the fights are kicking off, I think, at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to be going live around 9 o'clock in the morning for UFC 308. All right, let's move on to this main event. It is Anthony Hernandez going against Michel Pereira. So this is going to close out my parlay. I have the under 1.5 in this Despaigne fight, parlayed with the under 4.5 in the Hernandez Pereira fight. Money is coming in on these unders. It looks like the under 2.5, it was minus 135, it's now minus 170. And yeah, I think you can honestly make a case for both sides. Like the case for Pereira is like, yeah, he's going to knock out Fluffy Hernandez in the first round and a half. It's on the table. Pereira has shown a lot of power up at middleweight. Hernandez, he's been hurt before. Michel Pereira winning this fight in the first or second round should shock nobody. With that said, though, on the Hernandez side, I just think he has a lot more avenues. Like if this fight hits the second round, you're going to feel really good about Hernandez. He's going to use that cardio, the pressure, the pace, the relentless wrestling, and he's going to potentially drown Michel Pereira, who's slowing down in the past. So I like violence here. I think the under 4.5 as a parlay piece, under 3.5 as a parlay piece as well. And then I also like the Hernandez 2, 3, and 4 props. Round 2, I think it's like plus 700. Round 3 plus 1,000. Round 4 plus 1,200. They're not the best prices. That's because I feel like that's pretty much his win condition, is kind of like drowning him, taking him into deep waters, and then finishing him in the second, third, or fourth round. That's kind of how I'm playing it there. If you like Pereira 1-2 props, they make a lot of sense. I've seen some people say like Pereira sub 1, sub 2. Those are big numbers as well. But I think if Pereira is winning this fight, it's early. And then on top of that, like a live bet on Hernandez makes a ton of sense to me as well. So yeah, very interesting main event. I love this main event. And I think Fluffy is able to survive this first 5 minutes, but it's going to be 5 minutes of just walking through fire for sure. Fluffy sub Rodolfo because Rodolfo was gassed. Yeah, he was very gassed. I don't think I've seen anybody as gassed as Fluffy was in that fight. My heart says Fluffy, but my head says Pereira. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make a case. I think this fight could probably go either way. Pereira will gas out after 3 rounds and get subbed eventually. I don't see Hernandez getting KO'd. Yeah, that's what you got to be worried about, is like Hernandez getting hurt to the body. Mikel all day, he's on fire. He is on fire. He's on fire. But against Mikel Olasechuk, Ihor Peteria, and Andre Petrosky. If he beats Hernandez, it's going to be his best win in a while. But yeah, he's looked good, man. He's looked good at middleweight. That's for sure. Brady, who's the best female dog today? I don't know, man. I think all three of them are probably live, to be honest. Ardelean can get takedowns. If Penne gets the fight down to the match, she could get a sub. I guess Ardelean, I think, would be the most live underdog. I actually think she probably should be even the favorite just with such a clear path. But gosh, I do not want to bet on that fight. I absolutely do not want to bet on that fight. I don't think Michel has ever dealt with a fighter like Fluffy. No, he has. I think the closest he's to Fluffy would be like a Tristan Connolly, but Tristan Connolly is like a featherweight. But yeah, agreed. He's fought a lot of strikers. I like a fight like this just for a live bet, clear path for Fluffy if he survives. Initial onslaught, agreed. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. I think that's how most people are seeing it. Fluffy later rounds, Pereira early rounds. Michel Pereira could deny 2 takedowns, maybe 3, but what about 20? Yeah, especially early. I think early on, Michel Pereira is going to have no problem stuffing, the takedowns. But as the fight goes on, like they're going to be harder and harder to defend. That's for sure. So, yeah. Just final thoughts on the card, I suppose. Liking some violence in the main event. Pereira early, Hernandez late. I'm liking those Hernandez late props. I don't mind some Kyler Phillips inside the distance. Font's going to get finished very, very soon. Is it this fight? Maybe. But at these prices, I'm kind of willing to find out. Johnson could make this look easy if he grapples. Not touching the Hadley fight. Pineda early, Elkins late, just like the main event, I'm thinking. Not touching the Nicolau Almabaev fight or the Katona Matsumoto fight. But yeah, 2 fights there that I think could be a little bit more competitive than these lines indicate. I'm definitely not touching the Edwards Vidal fight. And yeah, just some of these prelims are just rough. Not touching the Martinez Ardelean fight. I think Penne by sub is really live if she gets a takedown. And then I think Despaigne probably destroys Austin Lane in the first couple minutes of the fight. So that's kind of where I'm at for UFC Vegas 99. Definitely a sketchy card, but yeah, some spots are sticking out. What about Despaigne? A good DK pick? Yeah, I think if he wins, he has that 60-second bonus potentially, and then he also has first round upside. I don't mind Despaigne at all at 9,400. This seems like another decent card of the Apex. No, yeah, it does for sure. I like this card. Last week's card was fun. I think this one will be fun as well. So yeah, guys, that's about all I got. Thank you for watching. If you guys could, on your way out, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for Stat Diggers tomorrow with me and Uncle Weezy breaking down UFC 308. Massive pay-per-view next week. 14-fight card headlined by Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway. Just can't get much better than that. So be on the lookout for that. And best of luck for UFC Vegas 99. Enjoy the fights, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.